How's it going, guys? My name is TJP, and welcome back to another Madden NFL 24 Franchise Rebuilding Challenge. We're back here with our next AFC team, and it's going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. So, if you guys are enjoying the content, leave a like, subscribe, comment down below some more videos, go to socials, playlist, second channel, main channel down in the description if you like other content, me TJP. So, just to give a quick rundown in case you guys aren't familiar, 5 seasons to build a team to potentially win a Super Bowl. Injuries on. We might mispronunciate names. It happens. Also, not meant to be realistic. Hopefully that's clear. You can look down below the description. If you can't see the description, let me know. But that's what it says there. And this is how it's going to be for all the normal team rebuilds. With that being said, let's get on the gameplay. Alright, let's take a look here at the roster we're going to be fielding here. So, before we make any moves, we probably might make a couple moves here. But let's just take a look at what we've got. So, quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. He is our guy right now. We'll see if it stays that way. Josh Jacobs, running back. Wouldn't mind keeping him around the entire video. Jacob Johnson, fullback. Wide receiver, got Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and Jacoby Myers. Those are your guys. At least your top three. We got Michael Mayer as a tight end. Austin Hooper as well is there. Colton Miller, left tackle. Left guard is Dylan Parham. Well, he's hurt right now, so it's to be Tamuti. Andre James center, Greg Van Roten as our right guard. Might want to improve that. Jermaine Illuminor, he is our right tackle. Jerry Tillery is our left end. Bilal Nichols, right end. John Jenkins, defensive tackle. Max Crosby, left outside linebacker. Robert Spillane's hurt right now, but he's one of the mid linebackers with Divine Diablo. Chandler Jones, right outside linebacker. Marcus Peters, corners with Nate Hobbs and David Long Jr. Marcus Epps, free safety, although he's hurt right now. Strong safety is a Trevon Morig. He is our strong safety. And then Daniel Carlson, kicker. Punter, AJ Cole III. So, I think defensively we could use some work. We could definitely use some work. I keep clicking on Manage Team. But let's see. These bathrooms are the best I've ever seen. Big and new. Yeah. Exactly. Thanks, Black Hole. Black Hole is just constantly mentioning us in his tweets. Good for you, Black Hole, buddy. Anyways, let's look at the improved team. You can see we could probably sign a couple guys just to improve our needs. Left guard, obviously, a pretty big need. So I think we could maybe go and get ourselves an AJ Can. We might as well get him. Andrew Norrell is also here. Just Pugh's here. Dalton Risner. But I think we'll go with AJ Can just because he fits the scheme of the team. So we'll rock with him. We don't have too much money, so that'll probably be our only signing that we can do. Which I'm fine with because I really needed a left guard. Free safety. I mean, we can go, can we get, a little Marcus Joyner? Perhaps. It's probably not going to work. Oh, maybe it will. No, it wouldn't. Okay, we got to clear 790. Yeah, that's what I figured. So, it's not going to work. Alright, let's see if maybe there's any moves we can make, like a trade, perhaps, to improve the defense a little bit before we start simulating. If not, I'm fine with keeping the team as is for this first season and just seeing how we do. But let's look in the market, see if there's anything out there, try to improve our squad. Alright, I traded for Milton Williams from the Eagles for Malcolm and Facey's son, as well as a 4th round pick. Just to help out our defensive, get another defensive tackle, fit the scheme of the team. And I guess we clear up a little bit of money, but not too much, I don't think. So, I think that's going to be it for moves. We're just going to let the team play out as is for this season. I don't expect us to make the playoffs this year, so I mean, I've been surprised before, but let's just see how we do at the midseason, look at the stats, and go from there. All right, so as I expected, 2-5 right now, so we are struggling a little bit. I mean, offensively ranked, we're getting a lot of yards, but not scoring too high in that department. Defensively, we're pretty bad, which I figured we would be. And yeah, we're pretty bad defensively. That's the problem. So we'll have to resolve that in the offseason. So I don't think we have much to do this year, really, to worry about. But looking at Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, it's okay. 9 TDs, 3 interceptions, over 1,500 yards, 63% completion percentage, like a little bit higher, but it's fine, I guess. 95.6 passer rating. Josh Jacobs, 620 yards, 7 TDs. That's really good. Amir Abdullah as our backup running back. Hunter Renfrow, he's our leading wide receiver. Then we got Devontae Adams. Jacoby Myers. Okay. Our blocking has been okay. Miller with 4 sacks allowed. Tackles. Diablo's leading the team. They've got Hobbs and Peters and Spillane tied, as well as Javon Morig. In terms of QB sacks, Max Crosby, 7.5 from him. Obviously, he's really good in that department. Of course, we have no interceptions. That's not very good. Daniel Carlson, 3 of 6. Like a little bit more of a superstar kicker. And you got your punting, kick return, and punt return. So if we look at the total team stats, I mean, offensively, 7 darts. We're getting up and down the football field on the offensive end. Not always translating to points, but I feel like we're been okay for the most part. Our passing is near the I was gonna say near the top, but it actually is near the top. I almost thought we were the Rams for a second. Did the Rams last time. Rushing wise, we are also close to the top too. 21.1 points is probably bottom half of the league if I had to guess. Yeah. 9 passing TDs, like a little bit higher rushing TDs. I would also think we are actually close to the top there, so that's good. Defensively, this is where we are struggling. So we got to work on that. We're letting teams get up the football field. I mean, our passing yards is okay, but teams are rushing against us like crazy. We only have 11 sacks, 186 points allowed, 3rd most in the league. We got 11 sacks, and then, of course, no interceptions. The only team in... Also, no fumble recoveries. The only team in the NFL that doesn't have a single fumble recovery or interception. That's pretty bad. So I think this season we kind of just play it out. We're not going to make the playoffs. I imagine we'll probably win maybe 5 games. And that'll be the end of it. And hopefully next season we can try to improve our team. So let's just hope for the draft and see if we can do anything there. Because I don't expect us to make the playoffs this year. Alright, so we ended up going 6-11, surprisingly. I said we'd win 5 games, but we actually won 6. 1 extra game. Not good enough to make the playoffs, obviously. But not the worst team in the league either. But we're going to have a pretty high pick, surprisingly, since there were a lot of teams that did do terrible. I mean, really, the Commanders and Cardinals are really awful, awful teams. So, let's take a look here at the rankings. You guys can see definitely a bit low on a lot of those rankings, especially defensively. I mean, we were really good at rushing. Obviously, having Josh Jacobs is very helpful in that regard. Let's take a look here and see the stats. I mean, Garoppolo, 19 TDs, 11 interceptions, 89.3 passer rating, nearly 3,500 yards. I don't know if I want him this entire video, but we'll see. What a great season from Josh Jacobs, though. That is a fantastic season from him. Hunter Renfrow was solid. Devontae Adams not too bad. Myers was okay. Or Mayers and Meyer doing their thing out there. Blocking wise, Jermaine letting up a little too many sacks, my liking. 12. It's a lot of sacks. In terms of defense, Diablo, 141 tackles. We had 102 from Robert Spillane. Nate Hobbs with 82. 80 from Javon Morig. Okay. Sacks, obviously, Max Crosby going to lead in the way, 13.5 for that guy. Milton Williams, 3.5. 3 from Chandler Jones. Interceptions, 2 from David Long Jr., and a bunch of guys had 1. Kicking, Carlson ended up doing all right, 11-14, didn't miss a kick after. A.J. Cole, the 3rd. Punting, your kick return, and punt return. So, overall, 14th in offensive yards gained, which is top half of the league, but not by too much. Our passing was, I would assume, pretty low. Yeah, our rush, though, is pretty high. 20 points a game, close to the bottom of the league. So that definitely didn't help. We had we were pretty high rush touchdowns, but our Passing TDs a little bit low. Of course, defensively, we weren't very good. But that we knew would be a thing. As you can see, we're near the bottom of the league. Passing-wise, was a little bit better than our rush, I would say, but still bottom half league in both of them. And we did allow 403 points, which was pretty bad. Only 7 interceptions as a team, too. Pretty low, and then 2 fumble recoveries. So we got some work to do. Nevertheless, I do think that we could make some moves next season that'll make our team better. Obviously, we got to take a look at how much cap room we're going to have. It's not a lot, so it's going to be mostly through trades. But let's see who ends up winning the Super Bowl and then go on from there. All right, so we've got the Eagles beating the Jaguars in Super Bowl 58. Let's take a look here at the stats. So Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP, as I just sneezed like crazy, and I'm not going to cut it, because why would I do that? Mahomes, McCarthy, Cooper Kupp, and Aaron Donald winning offensive, defensive on the same team. That's pretty crazy. Rashee Rice and Drew Sanders, Chiefs and Broncos, respectively. Let's go on to the offseason and then into the second season. So we have 17 players up for negotiation. Let's take a look here and see what that's all about. So Josh Jacobs, obviously want to keep him around. That's our biggest signing. I wouldn't even mind overpaying for him. Everybody else is kind of just like whatever, but we definitely need to get Josh Jacobs back, which I think we will. He seems to be interested, so we'll give him the contract that he wants. We'll throw him that. We'll throw him a 5-year deal, and he should sign that. Yep, probably maybe overpaid a little bit, but I want to make sure we kept him. We'll try to keep the rest of these guys, offer them some contract, and see who we end up keeping. So I think I got back a lot of the guys I would want to keep. Some of these guys I think I might just let walk. But I didn't get Mootsy back, so we're going to have to sign him or get another left guard. Maybe somebody we can draft, potentially. But we're not going to have too much cap room, and I think that's mostly because of Jimmy Garoppolo. So I might move him. If we can get a QB in the draft, I might look to trade him before we start the second season. Because I just think that maybe having a little bit of cap room for next season, because I think he's going to be making a fair amount of money. But also Devontae Adams, I think he's on a huge contract too. Yeah, Josh Jacobs obviously is going to be making a fair amount of money. But yeah, if we look for 2024, ooh boy, some huge cap hits right there. Actually, Jimmy Garoppolo's cap hit's not that big. Not that big, but Devontae Adams is going to be making so much money. But I guess he's worth it, assuming we have the right QB. So, all right, let's go on a free agency, see if we can make some minor signings, but that would be mostly about it. All right, so we didn't really do anything in free agency other than getting a new right guard. I needed a right guard, so I got Trey Turner. That was the only thing I did. Probably not going to keep him all those years, but we have him in the event that we need to have a right guard. So I'm going to go on to the 24 draft. We'll see who we can pick up with our first pick. If I can get a QB, I might get it. We'll see. I might just take best player available. But let's advance to the draft and see who we end up with. All right, so I actually think there's a couple moves that I wouldn't mind trying to do here. So I do need a mid linebacker. I could go with Michael Irons. But do I want to get a guy like Scotty Williams and then move Jimmy Garoppolo for a mid linebacker? So I could do something like that. Is that worth it? Is that worth it? Potentially. It's tough. It's tough because I feel as though Scotty Williams, I haven't drafted him before at Kentucky. We could try to get him. He'd be our QB of the future. I think it might be worth the risk, so we're going to do it. We're going to take Scotty Williams here. I'm going to try to get some of these other guys. I'll show you guys the draft recap we end up with. But I definitely need to get some defensive talent now for the rest of the draft. All right, so draft recap. You saw who we took. Scotty Williams, first pick. But I did get a couple of the guys. Got a right end and a mid, got a left end and a mid linebacker. But we also got Bryson Stevenson, Brady, and Kenny Dickerson. Not too bad of a draft, but not a lot going on there. But we'll see what ends up happening here. Will we move Jimmy Garoppolo? I guess we'll find out let's go on to the second season. So let's take a look here at the roster that we're going to be fielding in the second season. So, QB, we got Jimmy Garoppolo right now. But we do have Scotty Williams. He might end up being the starting QB. I might move Jimmy Garoppolo possibly at the mid-season point. We'll give him a chance to see how he's doing. Josh Jacobs, our running back, still fullback at Russell Brady. Devontae Adams, wide receiver with Hunter Renfrow and Jacoby Myers. Michael Meyer is our tight end. Colton Miller, left tackle. Left guard, Dylan Parham. Andrew Jones, center. Trey Turner, right guard. Jermaine Illuminor is our right tackle. Angelo Truman, left end. With Byron Young. Bilal Nichols, right end. Milton Williams and Neil Farrell Jr. are defensive tackles. Left outside linebacker, Max Crosby still. Diablo, he's got our midline spot with Amari Burney. Tyree Wilson, right outside linebacker, Chandler Jones. Corners, Peters, Hobbs, and Long Jr. Your top three. Then we got Epps as your free safety. And strong safety is Morrig still. So, kicking, Daniel Carlson, punting, A.J. Cole III. There's your draft pick capital situation. I think this team's going to be okay. I think we should be better than last year. But let's look at the improved team, see if there's any way we could make this team better or worse. I don't want to make it worse, obviously, but sometimes that can happen. So our weakest position right now is left end. I mean, do I want to pick up a left end here just for the season? Larry Gajobi could be okay. I mean, Truman and Young, I don't know. I mean, Dante Fowler Jr. for a season, if I can afford him, which we can. I'll sign Dante Fowler, even if he doesn't really fit the scheme of the team. Just go with the best player available in terms of overall. And I think that is about it. What kind of corners do we have out there? Isaiah Rodgers Sr. Can I get him? Probably not. Yeah, no, I can't. That would have been nice to have another corner. But it's okay. I think the team is going to be just fine, hopefully. We'll see how Jimmy Garoppolo does. If I find he's struggling, I might end up moving him at the midseason point, and we're just going to rock with our rookie QB that we drafted. I do think our offense could be pretty good. Josh Jacobs, just give him the ball, let him do his thing. And, yep, I'll see you guys at midseason, and we'll evaluate how good the team. All right, I actually like the way we're playing so far. 5-2, and we are pretty good offensively. As you can see, we're running the ball. Top 3 in terms of scoring, and number 4 in points allowed. We're not passing too much, but that's okay. We're running, and that's good. Number 5 offensive rank. Number 13 defensive rank. Most sacks in the league. Max Crosby probably has a hand in that. So 5-2 so far is pretty good. And we're taking on the Broncos. Hopefully it could be 6-2 before we get to next week. I think we should be able to make the playoffs this season, which is solid. What I'm expecting us to do. Rams are 0-7. Dang. That stinks. Let's see how statistically we're looking. So Jimmy Garoppolo, obviously, you saw he wasn't passing the ball too much. But he's still doing his thing. He actually has a really good passer rating. So I don't mind keeping him around. 9 TDs, 2 interceptions, 69% completion percentage, 107 passer rating. So far, so good. So I don't mind keeping him around for the rest of the season. Josh Jacobs, 730 yards, 9 TDs for him. So he's obviously doing really well. Devontae Adams are leading receiver right now. They've got Renfrow and Michael Meyer. He's doing his thing. Mayers is doing all right, too. There's your blocking. Looks pretty good. Nobody's allowed more than 3 sacks. Diablo leading team in tackles. We've got Hobbs and Hawkins. In terms of sacks, 4 from Crosby, 3.5 from Jones, 3 from Williams, 3 from Dante Fowler Jr., who we signed. So that's good. Interception-wise, only 3 as a team, Hobbs, Hawkins, and Peters. Kicking, Carlson's perfect. You got your punting, kick return, and the punt return. So that's looking pretty solid there. So, yeah, number 5 in terms of total offensive yards. That's pretty good. If we look at passing, it is, I think, closer to the top half of the league, and it is. Rushing-wise, 968. That is number 1. We're at 26 points a game. So we're doing a good job scoring, rushing TDs, second only to the Eagles. And defensively, we are looking better. As you can see, we were 13th in terms of total yards allowed. 1,492 on that passing, which is a little above average. And then 712 rush yards allowed is also better than a lot of teams. And 125 points allowed is also fairly low too. So offensively, we're looking good. Defensively, looking good. Let's see if we can make the playoffs. I'm hoping that we can at least maybe go 11-6. I'd be happy with that. Maybe we'll do better. Who knows? But let's just simulate and see how this team does. I'll see you guys at the end of the season. Well, we choked. Embarrassing ending to the season. Only going 8-9. Yikes. Not good at all. Ooh. All right. That's a little bit disappointing. We were 5-2, and we ended up going 8-9. So we finished 3-7. Not very good whatsoever. That is very bad. Very bad ending to this season. So we choked a little bit. Maybe it was injuries. I mean, it had to be something, because there's no way we just fell off the face of the earth. It's kind of weird that we did. 4-game losing streak is pretty bad too. So we were 8-5, and if we had just won maybe 2 games, we would have been 10-7, probably made the playoffs. But unfortunately missed out. So, all right, we got to take a look here and see the roster. Do we have any injuries? Probably. Got to double check it. Who got hurt? Someone had to have gotten hurt. No? Okay. Well, at least not yet. But let's see how many games people played, because there's just no way that we choked that bad. I mean, I don't understand it. But let's find out. Let's see how we did, statistically speaking. So maybe Jimmy Garoppolo might have to move if he didn't do good. 21 TD, 6 interceptions, 65% complete percentage, 100 passer rating. Not bad. I mean, rushing-wise, once again, Josh Jacobs, what a season. 1,780 yards, 21 TDs. I mean, that's... What more can you ask from him? Renfro is solid. Devontae Adams pretty good. All right. I mean, nothing too crazy there. Blocking was pretty solid. Defensively, 130 tackles for Diablo, 90 from Hobbs, Hawkins. You see Max Crosby had 11 sacks, 7.5 from Jones, 6.5 from Milton Williams, 4.5 for Fowler Jr. 5 interceptions as a team. That's a little bit low. Hawkins, Peters, and Hobbs are only 3 guys. Carlson, 11-13. AJ Cole, the third punting, kick return, and punt return. Also looking okay. So I'm not really sure what happened with the squad. I mean, we ended up at 18th offensive yards, so I guess we dipped a little bit, but, I mean, it's not like it was awful. I mean, our passing is fairly low, but we obviously are running the ball like crazy. 22.9 points per game is going to be above average, and defensively, we were how bad? Raiders, we dipped a little bit there. 3,807 yards passing is less than stellar, and our rush yards allowed was also not too bad, actually. 370 points allowed. That's going to be, I think, close to the middle, but maybe a little bit better. Actually, a little bit better. So, yeah, close in sacks. Least amount of interceptions, though. Yeah, okay. So, there's some work to be done. I don't know if I want to make a move now, make a trade, or... I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo's going to get another year older. He's going to regress. I think it might just be time to rock with the rookie and see what happens for the third season. I mean, as long as Josh Jacobs runs the ball, like, that's totally fine by me. All right, let's go to the Super Bowl, see who ends up winning it. Third season, that's where we're going to start making moves to make the playoffs. I mean, it was definitely an improvement from last season, but I would have liked to have seen us make the playoffs, especially after seeing ourselves 5-2 at the midseason point. So, all right, let's see what we can do to make this team better. So the Ravens beat the Cowboys 37-31 in Super Bowl 59. So, Lamar Jackson, Super Bowl MVP. Josh Allen, Doug Peterson, Cooper Kupp, and Aaron Donald once again winning offensive and defensive rookie players of the year respectively. Forrest Townsend for the Vikings and Michael Irons from the Saints. I was thinking about drafting Michael Irons and I didn't take him, and he ended up winning defensive rookie of the year. Good for him though. Got a little bit over $30 million in cap room, so let's take a look here and see what we have to do. I mean, Nate Hobbs, a free agent, Hunter Renfro in mine keeping. Morig, Diablo, Milton Williams. So there's some guys here I wouldn't mind trying to keep. So let's see if we could offer some contracts here. Keep some of these guys on the squad. If not, try to find replacements for them. I'll see who ends up keeping and who we end up having to try to pry back from free agency. I got back a fair bit amount of the guys, but we only have $8 million in cap and change. Marcus Stepp wants to test Milton Williams and Diablo. It's kind of unfortunate. It means our defense is going to take slight of a hit because we don't have a lot of cap room. Luckily, we have some draft picks to play around with. Maybe we can draft some replacements for them. Younger guys that can maybe develop in the next couple seasons. But I think maybe it's time for me to possibly move on from Jimmy. So I'm going to see if there's a trade we can make then for him and just have Scotty Williams be our QB. I traded away Jimmy Garoppolo and our first-round pick this year for Billings, McGlinchey, second-round pick this year, a fifth-round pick this year, and a future third-round pick from the Broncos. So we free up a little bit of money, get Billings and McGlinchey, so we need to get a defensive tackle to fit CDT. Nothing too crazy. We also get a right tackle that's going to help us out as well in McGlinchey. Does that free up a little bit of money for this? I'm not too sure. Let's see. Yeah, it does. So we have a little bit of money to play around with the free agency. So let's do what we got to do in free agency, see if we can pick up some guys to help out our squad on the defensive side of the ball. All right, so let's take a look at free agency recap. We did a little bit of work, but nothing too wild, nothing too major. But I did get a couple guys back as well as add some additional pieces to the team. So we got Milton Williams and Epps back. Got Emmanuel Ogba to be a left end and as well as Diablo. So yeah, pretty much brought most of the guys that I wanted back and getting Ogba to be our left end, which is pretty solid. We're going to go to the draft. I'll show you guys the draft recap. So they're going to be first-round picks, and we'll see who we get in the draft and then go on to our next season. Look at the draft recap. In case you guys are curious to see what auto-generated rookies we had and what positions. And, yeah, we got Thompson, Lincoln, Walters, Garcia, Craig, Gallister, Grisham, and Amaro. So, there's a few linebackers, actually a fair bit amount of linebackers, right end, left guard, and right tackle to help our line, and we got another running back. Nothing too wild in the draft. But let's go on to the third season, see how this team can perform. I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are too. Third season is upon us. Let's take a look at the roster that we are going to be fielding in the third season. So if we take a look, we've got QB Scotty Williams. So he'll be our starting QB, our only QB right now. Josh Jacobs, 99 overall. It's our running back. Russell Brady, fullback. Devontae Adams, Mayers, and Renfro. We also got Tucker down there as well. Michael Myers, our tight end. Colton Miller is our left tackle. Left guard, we got Dylan Parham and Lincoln as well, backing him up. Center, Andre James. Right guard, Trey Turner still. McGlinchey's going to be our new right tackle, but we also have a younger guy in Michael Thompson, so maybe he becomes our right tackle, and we can also look to then move Luminor and or McGlinchey at some point in a trade. Emmanuel Ogba is our left end. We've got right end Bilal Nichols. Left defensive tackle Williams and Billings, and then we got Crosby as our left outside linebacker, which is pretty solid. Diablo and Walters, mid linebackers. Right outside linebackers going to be Tyree Wilson. Corners Hobbs Jr., Hobbs Long Jr., and Duke Shelley. Epps free safety, string safety is still Trevon, and we got Daniel Carlson and Cole III as our kickers and punters. We do have Denver's third round pick this year as well, which is pretty neat. So, not too bad, not too bad. I like the team. We'll see how it performs. Again, I think we hold off on making a move for now, but keep it in the cards. Because we do have some contracts we could theoretically trade. I mean, do I want to pick up another backup QB like a Kellen Mond in case Scotty Williams doesn't work? We could potentially do that. But I don't need really anything else. I mean, right guard, yeah, it's not great. It's not the greatest, but we'll see. Yeah, I think we pick up another QB just in the event that we need a backup QB. So, yeah, Kellen Mond, we'll get him just for a backup. He's not going to be our starter. Scotty Williams will be our starter. Should be our starter, at least. So, all right, let's go on to the midseason point where I think we'll be, once again, pretty good. We should be good. I say we should be pretty good, and look at that. We're 2-4. Oh, boy. And our offense is absolutely atrocious. 5 passing TDs? Scotty Williams, what are you doing? Our Russian isn't too great either. Defensively, we're okay. But let's see. Do we have injuries? Probably. Have to have injuries. Let's take a look here and see what we got going on. 2-4 is not very good whatsoever. And right now, nobody's hurt. So, not injuries. We're just trash. Very, very trash. But let's take a look here at the stats that we've got going on. Because we obviously are not doing well offensively. Maybe there's a chance we could turn it around in the second half of the season. But you can see Scotty Williams is playing terrible. 5 TDs, 4 interceptions, 81.5 passer rating. And it's not looking good for him. Josh Jacobs still doing pretty solid. Just got to give him the ball and let him do his thing. Devontae Adams and Jacoby. Then we got Hunter Renfrow. I mean, yeah, obviously, if we're not passing the ball well, they're not really be doing too well. It's kind of hard for receivers to do well when your quarterback can't get you the ball. Blocking-wise, Miller hasn't been great, but Diablo, 45 tackles to lead the team defensively. Crosby's got 7 sacks already, so that's nice to see. What does that put us at? Yeah, 10 sacks as a team. Only in 0 interceptions. Carlson 2 for 2. Cole punting. Get your kick return and punt return in case you guys care. Obviously, defensively, we are going to be pretty mid. But offensively, it's terrible. Yeah, 29th. Not good. Not good at all. Passing is by far the worst. Our rush has been underwhelming as well. Let's take a look here. Passing, yeah, points per game, 17.7. Not going to be doing too well there. Defensively speaking, Raiders, what do you got here? 1,392 pass yards last. That's not too bad. Our rush defense at 798. Could be a bit better. And we were allowing 163 points, which is also not ideal. But offensively is our problem. I think we could try to make a move and see if we could acquire some. Do I want to acquire a different quarterback? Like, could I trade Scotty Williams for a younger QB? Possibly. That's not a horrible idea. I'm going to see what's out there. If I can move Scotty Williams and some picks to get, like, a pretty good QB, that's an option. Because I feel like he's going to have some value. Done deal. We just acquired Bryce Young, Shaq Thompson, and Austin Corbett from the Panthers for Scotty Williams, 2 firsts, a 6, and 2 7s. Wonderful stuff. So I think with that move, that should make us a better offensive team. I'm excited to have Bryce Young. Let's see how this team does the rest of the way. I'll see you guys at the end of the season. All right, so getting off to that slow start made us go 8-9. But getting Bryce Young the rest of the way, I almost said Bryce Hall. Yeah, getting him the rest of the way, I think, helped us out. Unfortunately, just not enough to make the playoffs. I think next year we're going to definitely make the playoffs for sure with our team. But let's take a look at the stats and see how he did. So, yeah, Bryce Young, definitely really good. 31 TD, 7 interceptions, 70% complete percentage, 115.8 passer rating. And, yeah, that's what I like to see. And Josh Jacobs, over 1,500 yards, rush, 15 TDs. Perfection. Perfection. Receiving, Devontae Adams, 993 yards, 7 TDs, 863 from Jacoby, 6 TDs, Hunter Renfrow, 673 and 5. Blocking, you guys can see there. Colton Miller, 11 sacks let up, which is kind of a lot. Shaq Thompson on the defensive end, 126 tackles, 3 tackles for losses. Diablo with 110 for him. Looks like Max Crosby had the most sacks on the team with double digits in 10. Williams with 5, 4 for Ogba. And you can see the rest of these guys down here. In terms of interceptions, Thompson with 4, Ward with 3, 1 for these guys. Carlson 90% for field goal range. And you got your punting, kick return, and punt return. So, I do think that we ended up being a better offensive team once we acquired Bryce Young. Again, not realistic. The Panthers aren't going to trade Bryce Young. But we got to do what we got to do in the game. The game's game. Passing yards near the bit of the bottom, but that's mostly because of the first half of the season. Second half, our rush was really good, obviously. 24 points per game. So we were better. in the second half of the season. Defensively, not the best, but not the worst. Actually, all right. It was a bit above average. Passing yards, we were good at. Rush defense, not so much. We allowed 400 points, which, if you look, is going to be close to the bottom half of the league. And I think most of that's from the first half of the season. So, I think next year will be the year we can make the playoffs for sure, make a big run. But this year, unfortunately, close but no cigar, same record as last season. But I think having Bryce Young as our quarterback for the entire season next year will make us a much better team going forward. So I'll see you guys at the Super Bowl. We'll see who ends up winning it. Super Bowl 60 has the Cowboys beating the Chiefs 26-24. So let's take a look here and see what we've got going on here. So Dak Prescott, Super Bowl MVP. Joe Burrow, NFL MVP. Sirianni, Coach of the Year for the Eagles. Deebo Samuel, Offensive Player of the Year for the 49ers. Aaron Donald, Defensive Player of the Rams. Steelers had Clayton Beasley from the Packers. Cool. So, on to the fourth season. I think this is the year we can definitely improve and get ourselves into the playoffs. Alright, so we got 14 players up for negotiation. Let's take a look and see who those players would be. So I'm excited. So Bryce Young, we've got an option. We of course accept that. Why wouldn't we? Colton Miller, we want to keep him around for sure. Jacoby Myers, Wilson. There's a few guys we want to keep. Most of these guys I think we could maybe let walk. Marcus Peters probably let him walk. AJ Cole, wouldn't mind keeping around as a punter. Same thing with Daniel Carlson, sort of kicking. But I may or not be able to afford them. Some of you guys might just have to let walk. But yeah, Colton Miller, I'd like to try to keep him. So we'll see who end up keeping on the squad. And we'll go from there. Alright, so we kind of ran a bit out of money here. So Dylan Parham probably going to end up walking. Not a problem since we have a younger right guard that we drafted. So we can kind of just take over for him. But if there's any moves that we could theoretically make to possibly free up some money, I wouldn't be opposed to doing so. So we'll have to advance to the start of the free agency and see what we can do. Trey Turner and Duke Shelley to the Buccaneers for a 5th and a 7th round pick this year, just to free up a little bit of money to possibly sign back a couple guys for the squad. I mean, I don't know if it really actually ended up helping, but we maybe just to get some younger guys as well to free up some money. Yeah, we don't have a lot of cap, so we'll try to maybe make one signing here and there, and hopefully that'll help us out. So I'll see you guys once I have some stuff on the table. Let's take a look here and see what we have in terms of free agency. I mean, the only thing I did was just sign Michael Davis, another corner. Didn't have a lot of money to play around with, but I do think our team's going to be pretty good going into the season. So, we got the draft. Let's see who ended up taking in the draft recap. I'll show you guys once I have that settled. Let's just take a quick look at the draft recap again. These are all auto-generated rookies, 4th season. I don't know if I'm going to show you guys the draft for the final season, but just in case you guys are curious to see what we got. Got a lot of defensive players. We did get another backup QB. We had a lot of picks. So, we had our first pick. Took Devron Ford, cornerback. So, I guess he was the best available. So, all right, let's go on to the 4th season. I do think we're going to be a pretty solid team this year. Roster that we've got going on over here for the 4th season. I do think we're going to be a lot better this year, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I feel like we have a really good team. So, QB, obviously Bryce Young. We've got Josh Jacobs, our running back. We got Brady as our fullback. Devontae Adams, Mayers, and Renfro. Michael Myers, our tight end. Colton Miller, left tackle. Left guard's going to be Abdul Lincoln. Center's Andre James. Right guard, Corbett. We got Thompson as our right tackle with McGlinchey. But we could look to move since, this Michael Thompson guy might be our right tackle going forward. Agba's our left end, right ends, Bilal Nichols. Milton Williams is our defensive tackle. Max Crosby, left outside linebacker, mid linebacker, Shaq Thompson, and Diablo. Tyree Wilson is our right outside linebacker. Corners, you got Hobbs, Ford, and Long Jr., Davis as well. Epps is our free safety. We've got Trevon Borig as our strong safety. We don't have a kicker and a punter, so we got to sign those guys before we get on into simulating for this 4th season. So let's just sign a kicker and a punter, and we'll pretty much get on to simulating, since I don't have much money to play around with right now. So let's see. Kicker, who do we got out there? I mean, can I get Daniel Carlson back on the team? That would be great. He can sign. We could sign him. Boom. Daniel Carlson back on the squad. And punter, AJ Cole, you're still here. Let's get him back on the team as well. Boom. And we got them both back. Beautiful. That's exactly what I want. I don't know how they didn't get signed, but I will take it. So the team is all set. I do think we can make the playoffs. We should be able to make the playoffs with this team. Nevertheless, I've seen weird things happen before. Let's simulate and see how this team does. Our fourth seed is sitting at 4-3 right now, which isn't too bad. You know, we're in our fourth season, looking okay. But let's take a look here at the rest of the standings around the league. 4-3. The Raiders are not too bad. Looking solid. Let's see what we could end up doing here in terms of statistics. Are we looking good? How good are we looking? Etc. etc. Ranking wise, you can see rankings look pretty solid. We're third best offense in the league, which makes sense, and we're a middle defensive the pack team. I mean, that adds up to me. Let's look at the statistics overall and see what we've got, who's playing well and who's not. See what I did there. Bryce Young looking okay. He's throwing the ball a lot. A little too many interceptions for my liking. Maybe he could fix that second half of the season and do better, but 98.2 passer rating is fine. Josh Jacobs, 637, 4 TDs. Devontae Adams is looking pretty solid this year as well. Defensively, Thompson, 50 tackles, 43 for Morig, which is pretty good. 5 sacks for Williams, 4 for Crosby, 4 for Ogba. They account for all of the sacks, 13 sacks as a team, and we got 2 interceptions from Shaq Thompson. Daniel Carlson, 8 of 9 kicking, punting. AJ Cole III doing his thing out there. Then you got your kick return and punt return. Also looking the part. Now, if we can take a look here at the team stats, you can saw there, third offensive yards, looking good total. Passing-wise, we're, I would assume, top half of the league, and we are. And rush-wise, I would assume also top half of the league, and we are. 21.4 points per game. I feel like that's not that high for our scoring output, and it's not, or for our offensive output. It's not, but I guess it'll suffice. And of course, defensively, you saw we're like middle, 15th in the league. So close to that middle part, but I'd say like, 32 teams in the NFL. You're in that top half. 1491 passing yards allowed. That is not amazing, but nothing great. 638 rush yards. That's pretty good. 147 points allowed. Also pretty solid. We're right around that area. It's like 1 point difference. So we're close. So I think let's just simulate the rest of this season. I don't know if there's any moves we want to make. Let's keep the team as is and try to make the playoffs. Defeated. Yeah, 10-0. That's pretty insane. Our rankings look really good. Fourth best offense, seventh best defense. The team was excellent. So we have the playoff bracket. So, wow, what a season we just had there. Let's take a look here and see what we got. Fortunately, the Bills had the best record. Or they won the conference. We didn't win the conference, unfortunately. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Bill, how good were the Bills? Let's see. What were their record? The Bills were 15-2. Okay. Had we played in the NFC, we would have been easily at a bye. Not a problem, though. Team was excellent. Second half of the season. Can't be mad about that. That is exactly what I was expecting us to be. I didn't think we'd be 14-3, though. That was a bit of a surprise. But nevertheless, a solid season, and Bryce Young was pretty good. 38, 84 yards, 25 TDs, 8 interceptions, 109.5 passer rating, so he looked good. Josh Jacobs, another great season, almost 600 yards rushed, 14 TDs, 10 TDs for Gresham, and 402 yards. Receiving, Devontae Adams, 1,248, 9 TDs, 893 for Jacoby, 6 TDs, 646 for Hunter Renfrow, so that's not too bad. Blocking, well, pretty solid. Defense, tackles 135 from Shaq Thompson, 98 for Diablo, 78 for Morig. which is pretty good. Max Crosby, 13.5 sacks, 10.5 for Ogba, 6.5 for Williams. So we did good on that front. And interceptions-wise, only 4 as a team. Carlson, 13 of 17. Punting was pretty good. And then you got your kick return and punt return. So we are primed to potentially win in this year's playoffs. Hopefully. I mean, number 4 in offense. You saw that. 4th in total yards. Passing was solid. Near the top of the league. And rush was second best only to the Steelers. 23.6 points per game is actually relatively high. Yeah, relatively high. So that's good. And, of course, defensively, you saw 7th in terms of total defensive yards allowed. Our passing defense was good. Our rush defense was second best. And we allowed the second least amount of points only to the Buffalo Bills, who had the best record. So we're going to go to the wild card. We're taking on the Chargers. Can we beat them? Let's find out. We're going to go to the Super Sim and see how we perform. All right, let's Super Sim to the end of the game and see how we do here. Starting it off, it is a 7-0 victory. And we're looking pretty good here. 14-0 going into the third quarter. And we're up 21-0 against the Chargers. 28. Yeah, this is going to be a win. Yeah, we're going to blow out the Chargers here. 35-0. Wow, we shut them out. So that is pretty neat. Wow, 35-0. Beautiful. All right, so let's hold to skip and go on to the divisional. As Bryce Young, what a game from him. 80% completion percentage, 220 TDs, 4 touchdowns. That's really good. That's really good. All right, so the second game here, we've got the divisional playoff against the Tennessee Titans. You can see their rankings here look pretty decent. 16th offensive rank. Defensively, though, not so much. But let's see if we can beat them here. Let's go on to the Super Sim. Divisional, we are home. So let's see if we could win here. We're going to go to the Super Sim. End of game, not the next play. All right, kickoff. The Tennessee. All right, let's sim to the end of the game and see what happens here. Starting off the game, Titans going to get a field goal. Second quarter, we score 7-3 now. Can we score again? Oh, they're going to get a field goal 7-6. We're going to get a field goal, make it 10-6. Third quarter, low scoring 10-9 right now. We're defending them pretty well. 17-9 fourth quarter. They score a TD, miss the extra point. We get a field goal. They score at the end, and they beat us by 7. No, by 3 rather, because they got a touchdown at the end. Damn. So kind of a disappointing ending to the season there against the Titans. Young didn't have the greatest of game. Will was pretty solid. All right, 23-20. So we lost to the friggin' Tennessee Titans. All right, we got one more season. Let's go to the next season. Look at the offseason. Look who wins the Super Bowl. Try to make this team prime time to compete for our 5th and final year. All right, so Super Bowl 61, 49ers beat the Titans 24-14. Fred Warner, Super Bowl MVP. You guys can see there Henry Brock, Tyler Boyd, TJ Watt, Charlie Kennedy, Brian Anderson, Josh Allen. Those are the guys that won awards. Let's go on to the 5th and final season. All right, we've got some money to play around with. 13 players up for negotiation for contracts. So let's see what we end up doing here. Max Crosby, definitely somebody we want to keep around. Devontae Adams also. A lot of guys here that we probably want to try to keep. So we'll see what we can do in terms of free agency. Trying to re-sign these guys, and hopefully they don't test. So let's see what we end up keeping. All right, so we got a little bit of money left to spend. Andre Jones wants to test. For the most part, we can let a lot of these guys go. Not a problem. The rest of the guys. I got most of the guys I want back. We'll have a little bit of money to play around with. I'm going to try to make some trades. We'll see if we can pick up anybody in free agency in our 5th and final season, but usually this free agency class is pretty weak. Frank Ragnow from the Lions for a future first-round pick, Davis and Long Jr., so a couple corners, to get ourselves a better center. It helps us out there in in general to get a good center. So I'm happy with that move. I also signed another left end for us. So I think that's it for moves. I just want to show you guys who we got because I'm not gonna end up signing anybody else with 890K. So I think we just kind of keep the team as is. But I did sign Zach Seiler. He's gonna be our new left end or sealer. So yeah, I'll see you guys at the 5th and final season since the draft just all the general rookies anyway. So the fifth and final season is upon us. Let's take a look at the roster that we've got going on into this season. So if we take a look here, it's a pretty good team. Bryce Young to be our QB, obviously. Josh Jacobs running back. We got Brady as our fullback. Adams, Myers, and Renfro wide receivers. Michael Myers our tight end. Mueller is our left tackle. Left guard is Lincoln. Ragnow is going to be our center. Right guard at Corbett. Michael Thompson is our right tackle. I could look to move McGlinchey to potentially improve something at the mid-season point if we feel like we need something better. Milton Williams, defensive tackle, left outside linebacker for Max Crosby. Mid linebacker, Walters is going to be him. And then we also got Shaq Thompson. Right outside linebacker, we got Tyree Wilson. He's going to be our right outside linebacker with Brendan Sears, Nate Hobbs, Devron Ford, and Jacorian Bennett. Free safety, Marcus Epps. And then we've got Morig as our strong safety. Kicker is going to be Carlson, A.J. Cole the third, punter. So that's looking pretty good. Let's just simulate. I mean, I don't have any other moves to make, so we're just going to keep the team as is. We'll look to maybe make a move at the midseason if I feel like I need to improve the defense. But overall, this team should be good and be able to make the playoffs and have success in it. All right, well, we're 4-3 right now, which isn't really amazing, but yeah, definitely going to want to improve the defense. We're 25th defensive rank, 10th offense, though. But unfortunately, defense is a bit thin. So let's take a look here at the stats and see what we got going on. You saw the rankings. And offensively, we're looking pretty good. Bryce Young having a really good season. He has not thrown a single interception, so he's a 124.9 passer rating, which is really good, 70% completion percentage. He's been excellent. Jacobs, once again, still doing really well. Yeah, receiving-wise, Devontae Adams, he's got 462 yards, 5 TDs. Mayers, 339 and 1 TD, 321 for Michael Meyer. Blocking, Colton Miller, he's got 5 sacks. Thompson, 45-42 from Sears, 39 for Morig. Crosby, 33 for him and Thomas. In terms of sacks, yeah, Crosby and Wilson only have 2, so we're a bit limited on sacks. In terms of interceptions, only 3 for Thomas, Epps, and Walters. Kicking-wise, Carlson, 3 for 5, which isn't amazing. Punting, A.J. Cole the third. Then we've got Miles Stevenson for kick return and punt return. All right, I think I want to maybe make a move then and trade McGlinchey and try to just get something that'll help us out defensively because he's making a decent amount of money. We could probably get a good player for him. So, yeah, Raiders, total offensive yards. Pass yards, 1534. If we take a look, okay, could be better. 841 on the rush is pretty good. I mean, both of them are pretty solid offensively. Let's take a look here and see. So, offensively, points per game, 22.6, which isn't bad. How are we defensively, though? Where's our total defensive yards? I feel like that's close to the bottom, right? Where are the Raiders? I can't find our team. That's total yards allowed. Pass yards allowed. Because wasn't our defense kind of bad? Or was I tripping? Yeah, no, defense is pretty bad. Yeah, 1722 for passing yards allowed. And then our rush yards allowed was, I think, a little bit. Actually, the rush yards is okay. 2404, 161 points allowed. Yeah, I think we could maybe use a little bit of defense. So let's try to make a trade. I think we throw in McGlinchey, and we can try to get better rush defense. That could help. I feel like I needed a right end anyway. So let's see what's out there in the market, because I do have that Michael Thompson guy. I think that's what his name was, the auto-generator rookie. I think he was an auto-generator rookie. So yeah, let's move Baglici, see if we can get like a right end for him or a left end. One of the ends. Like we need something on our defense. So let's see what we can muster up with his contract. Because yeah, he's an 81 over. I mean, you're 86. We got a backup here. He's making a lot of money. We can clear it up and try to get something for him. Maybe even a mid linebacker too, because we need that. Traded for Aaron Donald from the Rams. He didn't retire. Baglici and 3 second-round picks for Aaron Donald. That's going to definitely improve our defense for sure. Aaron Donald, obviously, solid even at his advanced age at this point in the video. So that should be helpful. Hopefully that'll be good enough. I want to see if they just make one more trade that we could do. Because we have a little bit of room and a little bit more draft capital for this fifth and final season, and we might as well try to make one more trade. Last trade here, Collins and Thompson from the Cardinals for Smith. 3/3 and a first-round pick to improve our free safety and mid linebacker spots. I'm going to see you guys at the end of the season. Hopefully this is enough to get us into the playoffs for our fifth and final season. Right, and our team is automatically in the divisional. We went 14-3 on the season, beating out the Chiefs to get into the what's it called? To clinch. Yeah, so we avoid the wild card. I mean, the team, once again, was really, really good. We didn't lose, I don't think. Yeah, we're a second-half team. The question is, can we be good enough? Can we be good enough to win a Super Bowl in this fifth and final season? That remains to be seen. But Bryce Young, what a season from him. 26 TDs, only 2 interceptions. He was excellent. Rushing-wise, again, Josh Jacobs, what an awesome season from him. Receiving, Devontae Adams was good. Myers, the Myers, and the Renfros, they're doing their thing out there receiving-wise. Blocking, for the most part, was pretty solid. Defensively, Zaven Collins of the team in tackles. Crosby was second. You can see a lot of sacks here. 15 from Aaron Donald, 11 from Max Crosby, 7 from Tyree Wilson. So, obviously, we were really good. 3 interceptions between Thomas and Hobbs, and then 1 for a bunch of geek guys down here. Kicking, Carlson was good, only missed 3 field goals. You get your kick return, punt return as well. So, you already saw how good the team was. 8th offensive yards, that's really good. 5,865 total offensive yards gained. Our passing was probably middle of the pack-ish, close to the middle. Rushing is going to be near the top, which makes sense. 20.5 points a game. It's also near the top. And defensively, bread and butter. You can see where we were, really good. Defended pretty well against passing for the most part. And then rush defense was excellent, second best in the league. And 309 points allowed, third best in the league. So the team is really good. How many sacks do we have? Oh, 37. I thought it said we had 50. Someone had 50. Yeah, the Cowboys. We had 11 interceptions as a team, which is at the top of the league as well. So we're going to the divisional. Automatically, let's see who we're going to be taking on. We're taking on our good old pals in the Kansas City Chiefs as they ended up beating, I don't know who they played, but they, who did they play? They played Indianapolis. Okay, so that's a tough matchup. That's a tough matchup in the divisional to take on the Chiefs. But let's see if we can beat them. Hopefully we can, but this is a really tough one because they were 13-4. They're the number 1 ranked offense. We're 8th, and they're 9th in defense, but we're 6th. So it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close for sure. Let's go on to the Super Sim. All right, Allegiant Stadium, man. Here we are. We are the home team. Super Sim this. Fast forward to the end of the game. How are we gonna fare against Kansas City? Start off with a 7-0 lead is pretty good. They get 7 right back. We get a field goal. It's 10-7. They score 10-10. We can't score. They score 17-10. We got to be able to score here, and we do 17-17. Going to the fourth quarter. We don't score. They're going to score. Yep. And we lose 24-17. I knew they were going to score once we didn't score. I knew they were going to score once we didn't score. So we built a great team just to lose in the divisional. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. 24-17. I mean, Bryce Young was solid, but not solid enough. I mean, Devontae Adams had a really good game, but unfortunately just wasn't enough. Dang. So we lost in the Divisional 2 season in a row where I feel like we probably could have won, but unfortunately just couldn't get the job done. And, I mean, that's pretty much it. So, unfortunately, missed out. I mean, we had could have made it probably 3 out of the 5 seasons, but unfortunately, kind of choked in the second half of the second season, and then the third season we got off to a slow start, but then we made that trade for Bryce Young. If we had him for the whole year, who would have known? But all right, I guess let's go to the Super Bowl, see who wins it, and then get on to the closing of the video since this was our final year. So the Bills beat the Lions. Somehow the Lions got all the way to the Super Bowl, and the Bills win the Super Bowl. Ed Oliver, Super Bowl MVP. Prescott, McCarthy, Taylor, Parsons, Greenberry, and Galvin are your award winners. Both of them from the Panthers are the rookies of the year. Good for them. Good for the Panthers. All right. Well, unfortunately, couldn't get the Super Bowl. Let's just go to the full screen and close the video. Guys, well, that's good for me. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, comment down most of the videos. Go to socials, playlist, second channel, main channel, down in the description. If you like other content, be DJP. We did our best, but unfortunately couldn't get the job done. Had some good seasons, but unfortunately there against the Chiefs, we didn't do too well in the final season. Knew when we didn't score, your game was just going to be like, yeah, Chiefs were going to score. So, what are you going to do? And they didn't end up winning. They ended up losing to the Bills. So, all right, guys. I don't know who my next NFC conference team is, but whoever it happens to be, you guys will see it when we upload it. But I'm going to head on out for now. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Peace.